This is a great point on the part of this captain.
So I get this question. I go, you mean to tell me that we're gonna cater to them? Yes, they're the public, we're the government employee. That's exactly what I'm telling you. So they say, oh, I got a good one. I got, because we gotta find every which way around this. And I don't mean specifically North Bergen. I mean I've taught all over the state, and I get hundreds of questions. I get a comment. Oh, I know. Sexual assault victims. I got it. The auditor cannot be in that public place because the sexual assault victim is telling her story, and they have certain privacy expectations. Is that a good one? I think it's a good one. Is that good?
These are great points, man. These are great points.
Good one? Is that a good one? Should the sexual assault victim tell her story while the auditor is behind her recording? So what should we do? Tell the auditor to leave, right? Move the girl to a private area. It's the...
Bam! Bam! NC Tyrant Hunter, you should copyright that. Bam! Yes, it's up to you, public servant, to create the privacy. If you don't want to hear this story from this victim, then take her into a back room, not in a public place, because if the guy is picking it up with his camera, maybe somebody else is picking it up with their ears. If you're really that concerned about this survivor of this horrible thing that happened in her life, then take her to a private area. This is really, it's not even close to rockets. It's barely basic mathematics.
Same. The examples I'm giving you that's why I started with that. It's always going to be the same. If you don't want someone touching your calendar, move the calendar. He's not going to be able to go into your office and open your desk. He's not going to be able to do any of these things. He's not going to do any of these things. They just want to see, are you respectful or not? And they're going to keep about their business. That's it. You're going to get one or two bad fish. There's one or two bad fish everywhere. There's one or two bad fish in Bergen, Union City, Town Hall.
There's one or two bad fish everywhere, except in police departments. It's not just a few. It's a whole school of them, man. Look under your boat. They're all over the place.
You get that everywhere. But generally, they're not threats. They're recording. The last thing they want to do is violate a right, be disorderly, or be anything that they're giving you the evidence of their inappropriate behavior. So the moral of the story...
That's a freaking good point, too. It's like, okay, if these guys are engaged in crime, then they are the stupidest people on planet Earth, because not only are they engaged in and committing crime, they're also recording their crimes.
Is you have to create the privacy. They don't have to create the privacy. Oh. They're a member of the public. The Constitution.
Oops, sorry. There we go.
Constitution protects them. So if you don't like it, that the Constitution doesn't protect you, the Constitution wasn't made for the government employees. All this really started after 9/11. But if you're upset that the Constitution doesn't protect you, and again, take that logically. Obviously, we protect you. If the guy puts you in the face, we're going to come up there and do what we have to do, make an arrest.
Okay, now this is a good point, too. Okay, so you guys know me. You know what I think about government. Governo and mentis. It's to control the mind, or mind control. And even if the mind isn't part of that, which it is, where the rubber meets the road, what government is and what government agents are they specialize in using force and violence to make people conform to their rules, laws, ordinances, and presuppositions, and basically their edicts. Okay, so that's what government is. Government is the idea that a person or group of people has a higher claim over your life and property than you, to the point where they initiate unjust force and violence on you, where if you did the same thing, you should rightly be jailed and all of society should ostracize you. But government agents do that under the auspices of, oh, wait a second, we can do it because we have this thing called qualified immunity, and you can't prosecute us if we off a Daniel Shaver, or if we stomp on a Tyree Nichols, or if we abuse a James Boyd, or end the life of a Philando Castile. You can't do anything to us. As a matter of fact, Philip Brailsford, the guy who eliminated Daniel Shaver, was acquitted when he clearly committed his crime on camera. Look at Amber Geiger. She got 10 years. She's up for parole this year, and I bet she walks. And then the rest of her time will be served under, supervised probation or whatever. There's a different standard, and that's what government is. It's this construct of belief that is based completely in fiction that somebody has a higher claim over your life and property than you, and it's just not true. But having said that, people who enter the field of government and become government employees, you've got to understand that once you don that mantle of being a government employee, your rights are shelved while you're being that government employee, and your duties come upon you. And what's the duty? What's your primary duty as a government servant? To not violate, but rather protect the rights of the people that you're claiming to protect and serve. And I'm not talking about this enigmatic, let's uphold the Constitution. Not only not violate rights, but make sure you go out of your way to safeguard the people's rights. You have the duty, you have the obligation. Your paycheck is derived from the people that you're supposed to be protecting and serving. You would think that those people would have the highest amount of respect for the rest of us, and they don't, because they have this entitled mentality of, it doesn't matter how poor my service is. It doesn't matter how bad my attitude is. At the end of the day, not only will I get paid, I'll get my incremental pay increases, and I'll probably get a promotion. That's the problem with government, is they eliminate all their competition, so there's no incentive for them to do better or create a better product or be a better person or don the mantle of servitude. Not at all. It's not there. So what he's trying to convey here, and I applaud him for doing that, is, hey, you've left the Constitution, you've left your rights for your 8-hour or 12-hour shift when you become part of the government, and now your rights turn into obligations to serve and be underneath the public that you're supposed to be actually benefiting. And oftentimes the exact opposite occurs. Oftentimes, all the time. A servant comes up to a lord. Like, let's put this in a perspective. If they are truly public servants and they really mean they're public servants, then wouldn't they treat us like kings and queens? Wouldn't they treat us like we're the lords and we're the masters and they're the servants? When was the last time you saw a servant economically terrorize a lord or master? When was the last time you saw a lowly house slave arrest a king? This is how we should be looking at this. If you're in government, you're the servant, you're the lowly house servant, and you've done that by choice. You volunteered for that position. You've said, I'm treating the rest of you guys while I'm on my 8-hour shift. You guys are kings and queens, and I will treat you as such. I will have a bowl of, whatever apples, Snickers, orange, health food, junk food, whatever you want. I am here to, sir, I noticed your shoes are a little bit out of sorts. I have some polish in the back. You want me to take care of those? This isn't hyperbole. I'm not exaggerating. If you're actually a servant, then act like it, or stop calling yourself a servant. If you disagree with what I said, if you agree with what I said, put a 1 in the room. If you disagree with it, if you think it's that's demeaning, then put a 2 in the room. I'm open. But the way I see it, if you're going to call yourself a servant, words have meaning. And if you're claiming to be a servant, then you better be serving. You better be fulfilling your duty and your obligation to benefit me. That's what I'm here for. You better not take away my rights. You better not infringe.